Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this webinar. A bit of housekeeping first. If you have questions during this webinar, the way to ask them is via the chat function on the control panel. All questions will be answered either during this webinar or afterwards. That's if we can answer them. There are some things that haven't been decided yet. We have done a frequently asked questions document which will be up on the government website shortly. My name is Peter Maher. I'm Head of Division for Veterinary Public Health Implementation. It is staff in this division that you meet on a regular basis as the VIs, that veterinary inspectors that go to you. I would like to welcome all food businesses. We have local authority food businesses, local authority vets, and other food businesses directly supervised by DAFM. So I want to welcome you to this classic traces training. As you all know, the way food businesses in Ireland export to the UK will change dramatically after April the 1st, which is 4 weeks from today. This is not something imposed by the Department of Agriculture or the European Union, but by the UK government after their exit from the European Union. This training is to enable you as a food business to apply for an export health certificate, which will be necessary for every load of product of animal origin to get into the UK. I cannot stress enough the importance of every food business registering on both Traces Classic and Traces NT if you want to export product to the UK or to use the UK land bridge. There is a methodology for registering on both systems, and this is clearly outlined in Module 1 and 3 on the government website. The link to these presentations has been circulated in a recently published trader notice. The agenda for this training will consist of presentations from Lorna Meaney, who's the Head of Veterinary International Trade, and Maria McGrath, who's in the Brexit division. The training will then commence from Kevin Williams and Jared McCauley, who are our experts on traces. This will be followed by a presentation by Michael Moore on export health certification, and that will be followed by questions and answers, and we will be all available to answer questions. This will finish at 1300 hours today, so I hope you all enjoy it and get something from it. It won't be the only training that we do. We will go and do revision training between now and the 1st of April. And that these dates will be circulated as well. So I'll now hand you over to Lorna Meaney, who will give you an overview. Thanks.
Good morning, everybody. You're all very welcome again to our training webinar. I'm the Head of Division in Veterinary Export Certification and International Trade. And as Peter has already said, and as you all know, as of the 1st of January, Great Britain became a third country. And consequently, as of the 1st of April, there will be a requirement to have an export health certificate for all products of animal origin being consigned to GB. Now, Traces Classic is the online platform which must be used to generate export health certificates for fresh meat, meat products, meat preparations, and most composite products from the 1st of April. Food business operators who wish to export these products must be registered on Traces Classic as an approved body and as a user. And it is very important for each food business operator to register enough users on the system to fulfill their business needs, and also to have adequate cover to create consignments on traces in the event of things like unforeseen staff absences. Now, just to complicate matters a little bit, Traces Classic is currently in the process of migration to a new platform, Traces NT, or Traces New Technology. Now, this will happen sometime in 2021, we're told, for the export side. And at the moment it is envisaged this will happen sometime in Q3, but we will keep you updated on the state of play with this. But for the moment, Traces Classic will be the platform where we will create our export health certificates. Now, those of you using the land bridge will already be registered on the new system as well, Traces NT, because from the 14th of December, Traces NT had to be used to create a shed document from an import point of view. Now, we have also been informed by the Commission that from the 1st of April, GB will use the list of approved establishments drawn down by the Commission from Traces NT to verify that the exporting establishment is approved. Therefore, there is now an urgent requirement for each approved establishment to also register themselves on Traces NT as soon as possible, as this list will be drawn down by the Commission to supply to the GB authorities at the end of March. And I urge you all to register on Traces NT straight away. Otherwise, when you make your first application to the IPAF system, notifying the GB authorities of an impending import into GB, your application may be blocked. Now, a trader notice is due to issue to this effect, and it will include a how-to guide, but currently there is also a PowerPoint presentation on the gov.ie website called Preparatory PowerPoint Presentation Module 3, Creating Common Health Entry Documents. So that's on the gov.ie website under Register with Traces. Now, crucial elements to this registration process on NT are making sure when you are filling in the registration that you have the exact name and address of the establishment, the approval number, your approval number of your establishment in the correct format, an accurate postcode, and your EORI number. Any difficulties or queries with the process, you can email traces, vphis.reg@agriculture.gov.ie, and that email address has previously been circulated. So just to cut a long story short, it is necessary to be registered on Traces, to be registered on Traces Classic as an approved, to be registered on Traces Classic as a user to generate a consignment and draft certificate on Traces, and it is also necessary from the 1st of April to be registered on Traces NT as an approved establishment, because it will be used, the list that will be generated at the end of March will be used for GB verification purposes when you make your IPAF's application. So now we'll just get back to the main purpose of this webinar, is to provide technical training on how to enter consignment-specific details on Traces. That is generating the consignment on Traces, and Kevin will deal with that in his presentation. And then also to give an insight as to how the certification process proceeds on Traces from the time you create this draft certificate on Traces. And Jared and Michael will deal with that. So I'll hand you back to Peter now so that we can get on with the PowerPoint presentations. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. The next thing we're going to have is Maria McGrath, who is going to give us a talk on Brexit and an up-to-date thing on Brexit. Thank you.
Hi everybody, can you hear me? Okay, just a brief overview of Brexit, but just before, just to touch on something that Lorna mentioned there about the importance of the registration on both Traces Classic and Traces NT. I'm aware that we have a lot of local authority vets and their food businesses with us today. The process for registering on Traces Classic and Traces NT for the local authority vets and their food businesses is not yet fully defined or finalised at this point. We are working very closely with our colleagues in Brussels in the traces division there to determine this process, and we hope this will be finalised very soon. So you will be all notified as soon as possible on how that registration process for you will work. Okay. Just to give a sort of a brief overview of Brexit and where we are and how we got here really. I think the Trade and Cooperation Agreement was signed last Christmas, and in general it was very positive for us and for the agri-food businesses. We got the best possible outcome for trade and the economy in terms of a tariff and quota-free trade agreement with the UK, and we protected Ireland's place in the single market. This was very important for us because we would have faced an impact of anything between 1.37 billion and 1.5 billion on our agri-food exports to the UK, and possibly between 715 and 970 million in tariffs on our imports. So that was a very positive outcome. However, the seamless trading environments that we've become accustomed to will not continue. The UK's decision to leave the EU, the single market and the customs union means that we must engage with a range of customs procedures and controls and regulations to continue trade with the UK. And these controls didn't previously apply. We understand that these will cause delays and there will be increased costs for businesses, and we have to put systems in place to make sure we can meet these UK requirements. The UK requirements are coming in on a phased basis, with the first phase coming in on the 1st of January, and that applied to live animals and high-risk products. The second phase that we're focused on here today is coming in on the 1st of April, where all products of animal origin will require to be pre-notified on the UK's IPAF system, and they will also require an export health cert if they want to travel to or through Great Britain. Okay. The UK are using the EU rest of the world health certificates as the basis for their import requirements, and these are quite arduous and much more difficult than we had previously had to comply with. Okay. These certificates will also apply to trade on the land bridge, and the UK has published most of their certificates at this point, but there are still some issues that require clarification. We're not sure of the pre-notification timelines that are required, and we're also working with the UK to get clarity on who needs to be registered with IPAFs to perform the pre-notification on their system. The UK have requested that it be somebody that is UK resident. There are a lot of things that we're still working on with the UK on this, and the details are published on our website as soon as they become available and are clarified. Okay, so I think it's really important that we do make sure that everybody is registered and using the appropriate tools. So this is just a quick update on Brexit. If there are any questions on Brexit or the processes, the Brexit call email address will be circulated at the end of this presentation, and it is also available on our website. Okay, back to Peter. Thank you.
Thanks, Maria, for your talk. We now want to hand you over to Kevin Williams,